I'm Philip from Audiofanzine at Oceanway Studio in Hollywood, and sounds really exciting and impressive. So let's get going.
All right, so we're in Oceanway Studio B. The studio was built by Bill Putnam, who was Bing Crosby's engineer. It was opened in August of 1957, and it was financed by Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby. And Bill Putnam was a leader and a high-demand engineer of the day at the time. He, helped shape the technologies of the echo chambers and the multi-band equalizers and acoustical treatments that happened, like in this very room. And nothing has basically changed since 1957 in this room.
Wow.
So you're literally walking back into a sonic temple, per se.
Wow.
So a lot of great hits have been coming out of this room. Everything from Radiohead to These Boots Were Made for Walking to countless and countless of records and soundtracks were done in this room. Let's talk about the special features of this room.
Absolutely.
Well, let's start off with the Drumbrella. It lowers down, and you can, record your drum set, vocals, whatever you want, and baffles that obviously. But it mechanically comes down. There's a battery upstairs in the roof, and like these tiles and everything has not basically been untouched.
Wow.
Since the 1957. You'll see pictures, and you'll see literally the tile on the floor where Frank Sinatra was standing is right there.
Wow.
Next door is another ISO, but actually it dates back to TV recorders were used to be a post house, and they just score live to film, like to the screen. And then eventually they took over that and made it into an isolation room, and you can see that there's some acoustical treatments to that room as well.
Uh-huh. And what do you use it for now?
For isolation.
Uh-huh.
Drums, horns, amps.
Uh-huh.
It works great. And you can still see the old control rooms in there, actually.
Let's walk over in there.
Yeah, right this way. So it'll be like an orchestra will be here, or horns, whatever. There'll be a screen that came down here, and you'll see the projectors were up there. And then there would be the control room, so they would record directly to film.
And do you still use that room as an ISO room too?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for guitar amps. Back that old sign right there used to say, recording in process or in progress or whatever.
What type of a session are you set up for here?
Today I'm just doing some overdubs. We're doing some piano, B3, bass with the wonderful Nathan East.
Oh, man.
I know, right? And then we're going to do some vocals.
And I noticed on the, let's walk over to the vocal mics for a sec. So you've got a C12 and a U47 here?
That's correct.
And do you have both up so you can try one or the other?
Yeah, it's for an A-B we're doing. Yeah, because the artist has a voice that typically on a 47 isn't the right for him. But this is a different 47 than he's used in the past. So we're going to hear, which one complements his voice a little better.
And otherwise, you have the C12 just as a comparison, or?
That's the one I think we're going to end up with him, that I've heard him on.
Okay.
But this is the 47 I've been using with Brian Wilson, so I want to just kind of hear with my chain how that sounds on him.
I see. And then let's talk about the piano setup here.
Okay.
So you have how many mics? A stereo pair?
And a rear. Yeah, this isn't my typical piano miking setup. But on this project, the original piano was done by Mick Gazowski. So I'm keeping with the miking that he did.
I see.
Most of the time, I'll just use a stereo pair of C12As, just more simple for certain things. But for this, he wants the control.
So you have, is that an 87 or a 4?
67.
67, okay.
Yeah.
67, and you have that pointed down at the
where they cross, yeah, just to get a little more of the low end of the piano.
And then you have the stereo pair of, what are those?
Those are Shep's CMC 5Us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get most of the sound out of those,
Yeah.
and then you supplement with the.
Yeah, you do it to fill it in because the Sheps don't have the low end of like a C12A or a C12, something like that.
Okay.
Cool. And then we have the M50s just for a little ambience to just kind of give a little depth.
Oh, this pair here.
Right. Yeah, because on some of the songs it's a little more vibey, so that he can change up the sound quite easily.
I know we can't say who it is, but what type of music are we talking about?
It's a little of everything. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just very kind of poppy, but not in a commercialist pop, if that makes sense.
And let's see what else you have set. Now this
will be for Nathan's bass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So his amp will be out here, and then we'll have him in the control room. Just make communication a little easier.
So his amp is going to be right where
the two mics are? Yeah.
So what do you got there?
I have a Neumann 47 FET and a Shure SM59.
Separate tracks, not stereo?
No, I blend them.
You blend them?
Yeah.
Oh, you just blend them on one mono track?
Yeah.
And what about the B3 setup?
B3, pretty straight ahead. We haven't actually mic'd that one yet.
You have a Leslie? Oh, yeah, Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie should be in here. We haven't put the mics on yet.
Okay.
But yeah, 47 FET on the bottom, and then I'll also have a pop filter just to kind of deflect some of the wind.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then I've really been liking using Sony 55Ps on it, nice and even.
How many mics do you end up using on the Leslie?
For this, we'll use 3. This is a Neve 8068-88. It's been expanded because the 68s were 32 channel, and this is now 56.
Wow.
Yeah, all with 31102 modules, which is my favorite Neve module.
And is there automation in this thing?
Yeah, flying faders. And one thing that's really hip about this room, when they used to have the Dalcon in here, there was no shelving on the console, so they installed API 550As, all vintage ones, that you just hit the channel button and it inserts it into the path. So now what's really nice is you have, the great Neve Pre, you have the flexibility of this, EQ, but then if you want to have the color of even just the sound of the API module, and or if you want to just get a different high-end or low-end frequency, you can mix and match them. It's kind of the best of both worlds.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is the mic pre I was telling you about that I'm using.
Which one?
This one right here on top.
The source sound?
Yeah.
Is that a custom built?
Yeah, it's a custom. It's basically an API line driver that's been modified so it can accept the microphone. Super high gain, but it's really open and pretty flat all the way up to 100K.
And then underneath it is a Yuri.
That's 1176.
Oh, it's an 1176.
Yeah,
okay,
silver face.
Silver face. Okay.
Yeah, which for some reason I prefer for vocals most of the time if I'm using 1176.
Okay. And then you have a couple of old LA2As here.
Yeah, and then in the rack over there on the left, there's the LA2As, but for the other 1176s,
Right.
And some of them probably made upstairs. The bottom one's actually one of the new universal ones.
Oh.
Sometimes you want, a little cleaner sound. And then we have the mid-range Pultec. A few Langs below that, which is great EQ.
Yeah.
The
silver ones.
And they're great. They're very transparent. It's great on certain, like if you snare drum or certain things, you can add fundamentals that don't necessarily exist in the source.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we have a Compex, the one with the colored knobs. It's a compressor limiter. If you want to really get that huge drum sound, to really compress the rooms, it works well. And then obviously an original Fairchild, which we have in all the rooms here.
Control room Studio A.
Let me turn those on. ATR 124. It's 2-inch, could be 24 or 16, depending on the head stack. Then a BCM 10. in this room, just outboard gear. Another Fairchild, more 1176s, Langs, you know. This gear has a little bit different outboard gear.
And is there a particular reason an artist would choose A over B?
Okay, well, the rooms sound different, and the console, huge part of it. You know.
So talk about this console.
Well, this is, you know, one of the few Focusrites that were made. You can see the plate actually shows the number of it. And the old tech here did numerous modifications on it. So unlike a lot of Focusrites that tend to be a little soft sounding, it's been opened up. They bypassed a lot of different transformers that were unnecessary.
So this is all modular?
Yeah, yeah. This is what Rupert made after the like the 80 series when he left Neve.
Wow.
Yeah. But for acoustic instruments, it's just amazing sounding.
Because of the mic pre's, or
The mic pre's, just the way the console blends things. I mean, recording. I mean, I would say now these pre's sound very like a crossbreed of an API and a Neve without the low end bump of a Neve. You know, very open and warm, but still clear.
see those NS10s up there?
Yeah.
And Gentle X.
Correct. Yeah, all the rooms here have 1032s.
And more LA2As over there.
Yeah. A couple Pultecs.
Oh wow, look at the walls here, man. How did that get like that?
That changed in the 1980s when they redid the floor. They also redid the fabrics in here,
Oh, it's very cool.
like the early 80s.
But it's really good sounding fabric.
Right, that's the most important thing, of course.
Yeah. Sounds good so you can't touch it.
Yeah, these red panels. So should we go in the
Sure.
main room?
Yeah.
This is actually Frank's room. This is like where Frank did most of his recordings in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So this is bigger, obviously, than...
Yeah. Well,
the-
you know, he would record live with an orchestra.
Do you do a lot of orchestra sessions?
We do.
Here still, like for
Yeah.
film scoring?
For records, films, TV, and I think, you know, I'd say in the last couple of years, the more a lot of the stages have been closing, we do a lot more.
So when you mic up an orchestra, you have like a bunch of room mics rather than individual...
No,
instrument
usually
mics?
we'll have a room mics obviously, and then they'll
Yeah.
have spot mics, you know, which depending on the sound you're going for may be somewhat high or low, you know, depending on the desired sound.
But not per instrument, right? Per section, maybe, or...
Not when I do it. Some people might do that, but
Yeah.
you know, typically I don't do that.
Yeah. And what's the best sounding drum room? Is it B? Because
They're
of that?
different. I mean, I pick different rooms for different projects. B has a sound, you know, it's a very open, clear, bright room, where this is still clear and bright, but it's a more even sound. It's a little different.
Okay. Has this room changed a lot since the days?
Yeah, absolutely. Like this treatment, this all that got added. The floor got added. And this used to be like this board that was here, but now they added fabric to it. That would happen in the 80s.
So B is really the one that's the going
much.
back in time room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Wes did a session with Eric Clapton, and he had like, what, 5 drummers in here?
We had 5 drum sets, yeah. We had 5 drummers, 4 guitar players, a
And we-
bassist, tablas.
And it all fit.
Oh, we did everything in here. And this room also has a really nice, large ISO.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great when we do a lot of the TV stuff, so everyone can still have visual, but you can get a little isolation. You know, or if we're doing a rock thing, we'll just build little dog houses for the amps in there.
With all this gear and incredible facilities, like what, as an engineer, what are your biggest challenges working in a place like this?
Biggest challenges, just really, I think, accommodating the needs of everyone because they're so different.
Right.
Some people want to stay with the vintage, some people want more modern, and be able to really kind of mix and match them and keep the flow that they're used to working with. You know,
Right.
if they, you know, they may be working at home by themselves, and, you know, a lot of people don't work in the big studios all the time. So when they do, they really rely on us to make it happen.